Hey everyone, welcome to 59 Topps Friday, presented by Wax Pack Wisdom, where we talk baseball history through the cards we love. My name is Jake T. O'Donnell. We built the iconic 1959 Topps baseball set, and in this series, we're going through every card to talk about the players, teams, and people who made up Major League Baseball in 1959. Today, we'll cover cards 100 through 107 in the set. Card number 100 belongs to Bob Cerv of the Kansas City Athletics. 1959 was the 9th MLB season for Cerv. A U.S. Navy veteran in World War II, Cerv did not sign a professional baseball contract until he was 25 years old in 1950. Despite showing solid power in the minors, Cerv was little used by the Yankees at the big league level from 1951 through 1956, appearing in the World Series in both 1955 and 1956. According to a possibly apocryphal story, Casey Stengel went up to Cerv in the dugout late in the 1956 season and said, "Not many people know this, but one of us has been traded to Kansas City." The move to Casey was exactly what Cerv needed to jumpstart his career, and he enjoyed the best season of his career there in 1958. He smacked 38 home runs, drove in 104 runs, hit .305 with a .963 slugging percentage, and made the AL All-Star team, and finished fourth in league MVP voting. His numbers were a little worse in 1959, and then a little worse in 1960, when he was traded back to the Yankees. In their losing effort against the Pirates in the World Series that year, Cerv hit .357 in 5 games. In 1961, Cerv was selected by the Angels in the expansion draft, but once again he made his way back to the Yankees in May of that year. He would finish his big league career in Houston in 1962. Card number 101 belongs to Alex Kellner of the St. Louis Cardinals. This would be the 12th and final big league season for Kellner. He was signed out of Arizona as a teenager, but his baseball career was interrupted by World War II, where he served in the U.S. Navy. Returning home, Kellner debuted for the A's in 1948 and then had a sterling rookie campaign in 1949, winning 20 games and amassing a 3.75 ERA in 245 innings. He made the AL All-Star squad and finished second in League Rookie of the Year balloting. Kellner would never quite pitch that well again in the majors, although he was a serviceable arm for the A's through the 1950s, including after their move to Kansas City. He also pitched for the Redlegs and Cardinals. Kellner's younger brother Walt also pitched in the big leagues for 2 seasons. In their later years, the Kellner brothers were avid hunters, and for a time captured mountain lions and bears for zoos and circuses. Card number 2 belongs to Felipe Alou of the San Francisco Giants. 1959 was Alou's second year in the majors. Alou was the first Dominican-born player in history to be a big league regular. He was a sure-handed outfielder and contact hitter who was part of the return to prominence for the Giants in the early 60s. On the pennant-winning 1962 club, Alou hit .316 and made the NL All-Star team. The Giants also signed and developed Alou's younger brothers Matty and Jesus, and on September 15, 1963, they formed the first and only 3-brother outfield in MLB history. After that season, Felipe was part of a big trade with the Braves, where he would enjoy the best years of his career. In 1966, he led the NL in hits and total bases, batted .327, and made the NL All-Star team. He also finished 5th in MVP voting. 2 years later, he again led the NL in hits and made another All-Star team. Alou would also play for the A's, Yankees, Expos, and Brewers in a 17-year MLB career. He went into coaching in the Expos organization and became the first Dominican-born manager in MLB history in 1992. Alou managed the Expos to several successful seasons and tutored numerous future Hall of Famers, including Pedro Martinez, Vlad Guerrero, and Larry Walker. Alou later managed the Giants to a 100-win season in 2003. His son Moises enjoyed a 17-year MLB career and made 6 All-Star teams, and another son, Luis Rojas, managed the Mets for 2 seasons. Today, Felipe Alou remains a special assistant in the Giants organization. He is 88 years old, and he turns 89 in May of 2024. Card number 103 belongs to Billy Goodman of the Chicago White Sox. 1959 was the 13th MLB season for Goodman. He spent much of his career in the 1940s and 1950s as a versatile Swiss Army knife type player for the Red Sox, but still managed to find his way into the lineup most days. He appeared in over 100 games at the big league level at each of first base, third base, second base, and the outfield. In a Red Sox lineup often filled with stars and power hitters, Goodman was more of a table setter, never hitting more than 4 homers in a season. He hit .310 in 1948 and finished 4th in AL Rookie of the Year voting. 2 years later, he hit .354 and placed 2nd in the AL MVP race. Goodman had a brief stop in Baltimore before going to the White Sox in 1958. He played third base on the 1958 pennant-winning White Sox and collected 3 hits in the World Series. Goodman later played one last season for the expansion Houston Colt 45s, and he spent much of the rest of his life working in baseball as a scout and instructor. Card number 104 belongs to Del Rice of the Milwaukee Braves. This would be Rice's 15th season in the majors. Rice was an Ohio native who signed with the Cardinals in 1941, eventually working through the minors and making his debut in St. Louis in 1945. The following year, Rice had 3 hits and scored 2 runs in the World Series, where the Cardinals bested the Red Sox in 7 games. Rice never quite claimed the Cardinals' starting catching job until 1950, despite showing real prowess behind the plate and some occasional pop. He was an NL All-Star in 1953. Injuries started to catch up to Rice, and he was dealt to the Braves midway through 1955. There, he backed up Del Crandall, and the two Dells formed a strong catching tandem that resulted in back-to-back NL pennants in 1957 and 1958, including the World Championship in 1957. Rice rounded out his playing career with brief stints with the Cubs, Cardinals, Orioles, and Angels, then retired from playing after 1961. He spent years as a minor league manager and coach and managed the Angels in 1972. Card number 105 belongs to Lee Walls of the Chicago Cubs. This was the 5th MLB season for Walls. He appeared in 10 MLB seasons total for the Pirates, Cubs, Reds, Phillies, and Dodgers. Mostly a corner outfielder, Walls was known for his distinctive eyewear while on the field and earned the nickname Captain Midnight because of them. His best season by far was 1958, when he made the NL All-Star team for the Cubs, hitting 24 home runs and batting .304 on the year. For the Dodgers, he appeared in all 3 games of the 1962 National League Championship Playoffs series against the Giants, getting a pinch hit double in Game 2, but also making the final out of the Game 3 loss. Walls later played in Japan and coached in the minors and big leagues. Card number 106 belongs to Hal Woodeshick of the Cleveland Indians. 1959 was the 3rd MLB season for Woodeshick, a Rule 5 pick of the Tigers from the Giants organization following the 1955 season. Woodeshick appeared in the majors for the first time with Detroit in 1956. He didn't make much of an impression there, and then was traded to Cleveland, where he made 14 appearances. He pitched for the old Washington Senators in 1959 and 1960. And upon their move to Minnesota, Woodeshick was claimed by the new Washington Senators in their expansion draft ahead of 1961. Eventually, he went back to Detroit and then Houston, where he became a full-time reliever for the rest of his career. His best season was 1963, when a 1.97 ERA earned him NL All-Star honors. Woodeshick finished his career with the Cardinals, where he pitched 1 scoreless inning in the 1967 World Series, got his ring, and then retired. Card number 108 belongs to Norm Larker of the Los Angeles Dodgers. This would be the 2nd big league season for Larker. A longtime Dodgers farmhand, Larker would not make his debut in the majors until age 27 in 1958. He took advantage of his opportunities playing corner outfield and first base for the Dodgers, and he got 3 hits while scoring 2 runs in LA's winning effort in the 1959 World Series. 1960 would be his finest year. Larker batted .323 in 133 games and was placed on both National League All-Star teams that season. His playing time began to diminish in 1961, and he bounced around Houston, Milwaukee, and San Francisco to round out his MLB career. Larker spent some time playing in Japan in later years. That's going to do it for this edition of 59 Tops Friday on Wax Pack Wisdom. Do you have a story about one of the people, players, or teams we discussed today? Let us know in the comments. We'd love to hear it. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and subscribe to our channel so you don't miss any of our Wax Pack Wisdom content. In the video description, you will find our source material for this episode, links to where you can follow us on all social media channels, as well as a list of our favorite nonprofits and charities. Please consider a donation to one of them if you enjoyed this content. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next time on Wax Pack Wisdom. Take care.